In the lead up to the release of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary specials, Russell T Davies himself has revealed that for the first series of this new era under his tenure as showrunner, there will be no Daleks making an appearance. According to him, the Daleks need a break. Quite a few people have asked me for my thoughts on this, and you've probably already seen a lot of other Doctor Who YouTubers talking about it, so I thought I'd make a quick video to share my views on this revelation. As a Dalek themed channel, you're probably expecting me to have a negative reaction to this news, and I won't lie, upon hearing this, my initial thoughts were negative. After all, as a Dalek fan, I'm really looking forward to the next Dalek episode written for the new Doctor in the new era now that Russell is back as showrunner. Not only that, but I'm eager for the Daleks to make their comeback in Doctor Who now that the show will have an expanded new audience thanks to the Disney Plus deal. But after taking a moment to process the lack of Daleks in the new series, I can't deny that the decision makes a lot of sense and could actually benefit the Daleks greatly in the long run. I was a big fan of Chris Chibnall's Dalek stories both in their conception and their execution, and having a Dalek special each new year was a great treat, far superior to the tired old annual Christmas special that we got year after year under Russell and Moffat. But just as the Christmas special took a much needed break and is now making its return to much fanfare and mirth, perhaps the time has come for the Daleks themselves to do the same. Don't get me wrong, I'm still somewhat disappointed that we probably won't be getting a new Dalek story for over a year, perhaps even longer, but it seems like the majority of the fan base, as well as casual viewers of the show, agree that the Daleks should take a short hiatus while the show focuses on new things. The fact that we've had at least one Dalek appearance per series for the past 13 seasons is a double-edged sword. It's great for Dalek lovers like me, but the longer this goes on, the more susceptible the Daleks as a concept will be to words like overused, tired, or worst of all, boring. So Russell's decision to put the Daleks on ice for a few years to focus on new things can only be a good thing for them in the long run. They'll have a break from the show, give people time to start missing them, and then hopefully make a triumphant return that puts them back on top form. Given that the 3 Dalek stories that Russell has written so far have the same basic story beats, you can guarantee one of 2 things is going to happen when the Daleks do return. We'll either get the classic Russell recipe of Daleks invading Earth with a giant fleet and then being blown up at the end with a Deus Ex Machina, or we'll get something radically different as Russell tries something brand new with them that breaks his previous mould and takes them in a new direction. Either of these things, a classic Dalek invasion storyline or a brand new approach that we haven't seen before, will be ideal for bringing the Daleks back for their big return after some time away. If the rumours that Ncuti Gatwa is only doing 2 seasons are true, then perhaps the Daleks' return will lead to the Doctor's regeneration, or perhaps Ncuti will be to the Daleks as Pertwee was to the Cybermen, and we simply won't see the Doctor battle their old enemies again until they regenerate into their next incarnation. Either way, Dalek fans need not fear a drought, as while the Daleks will allegedly not be appearing in Series 14/Season 1, there is still a strong chance that we will be getting new Dalek content in some form between now and the start of Series 15 or Season 2. It looks like the Children in Need short for this year will be set on Skaro before the Daleks take over, which should be fun. And don't forget, there are plenty of Doctor Who spin-off ideas floating around, several of which seem to have strong evidence, occasionally coming from Russell T Davies himself, that they will happen at some point. A Villains spin-off series is the most likely contender, which will undoubtedly have at least one episode dedicated to the Daleks. There's also the long-awaited 8th Doctor TV series spin-off starring Paul McGann, which is strongly rumoured to be in the pipeline at last thanks to the Disney Plus deal, and will likely feature Daleks in some capacity if it is set during or just before the Time War. And who knows, any other given Doctor Who spin-off could potentially feature Daleks. Perhaps we'll see them have a rematch with UNIT in the Kate Stewart series, or face off against a classic companion if the likes of Mel, Jo, Tegan or Ace get their own spin-off one day. In the meantime, there's lots and lots of Dalek content for us to enjoy. If you're looking for new Dalek stories and you haven't taken the plunge into the Big Finish audios yet, I'd recommend starting with one of the classics like Jubilee or Blood of the Daleks to get an idea of whether the audio format works for you. If you've listened to Big Finish in the past but fell off when they switched to box sets, the Time War audio series with Paul McGann has some fantastic Dalek stories and fills a very interesting gap in the Doctor's story by depicting the early days of the Time War, where the Doctor tries to help where he can but will not fight. And if audio dramas aren't your thing, there are tons of great Dalek stories in comic, novel or audiobook format that you can check out. The recently released Liberation of the Daleks comic, which is confirmed to be the 14th Doctor's first official story, some of the classics like Emperor of the Daleks or Children of the Revolution, or the undisputed king of Dalek stories in book form, Prisoner of the Daleks by Trevor Baxendale. And now that the classic series is on iPlayer, you can travel back down the timeline of the show and watch classic Dalek stories that you haven't seen for a while, or watch them for the first time if you haven't seen any yet. I'm going to spend this period of Dalek exile brushing up on my knowledge of Dalek comic lore and old Dalek lore from the Wilderness years, and I'll also have to schedule in a full rewatch of all the New Who Dalek stories so I can finally get round to writing reviews of the Moffat era Dalek episodes. The show itself might be taking a break from the Daleks, but in 2024 you will still be able to find weekly Dalek content right here at Dalek Bumps.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to
Dalek Bumps.